Hi everyone, welcome to Perspectives for Parenting. Today, first off, I just wanted to start with thanking you, Leslie, and all your team. You're such an amazing team for the creative and meaningful ways that you have provided VBS to all of our children.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. It was our joy.
It was so wonderful. If anyone said, hey, we're going to do virtual VBS a year ago, I would have thought there's no way.
I would have said the same thing. I would have said that about 2 months ago. We were saying, we don't know how this is going to work.
But it really was so perfect. It was really well done. Everything was pulled together. Obviously, we have so many talented people in our congregation.
We do. We do.
What a blessing. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And you know, in our home, we were watching along and we were doing the Trust Jesus.
Right.
And
I have a little 3-year-old that was doing the same thing that her mom emailed me. Yeah.
And it's 2 simple words, trust Jesus, right?
Right.
So of course, as we were saying it throughout the week, I was thinking about that, trust Jesus. Mm-hmm. And gosh, the message is so timely because right now our faith is really being put to the test.
In every single way, it's being pushed to the test.
Yeah. And so I've been thinking, so for myself, I've been asking myself again and again, do I trust Jesus? Mm-hmm. And what does that even mean to trust him? Mm-hmm. This time has really helped me think deeply about that. And I've been asking myself, like, so do I trust God? Do I trust Jesus? Or do I put more trust in things like routine, mm-hmm. schedule, mm-hmm. predictability,
right?
Steady income?
Exactly.
Is that where I'm putting my trust? Is that where we put our trust? And I know that we don't like to use the word idols these days, especially looking at the 365. You know, we're in the Old Testament and they have idols, right?
Right. King Nebuchadnezzar had the statue.
Right. There was Baal worship and they had the statues, but we don't have idols because that's Old Testament stuff.
Right.
But the more I've been thinking about this, I realized, you know, what are idols? First, idols are tangible and intangible objects mm-hmm. of our attention, our dependence, mm-hmm. the source of our meaning or source of our purpose. And so then I realized, well, let's just name it as it is. All of these things that like are routine, predictability, steady income, those are all idols because they are the source of our meaning or our purpose.
Yeah, or that we can feel okay about life because these things are in place.
Right. And so we depend on them. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or I was thinking about when you said trust Jesus, I will trust him with this and this, but I won't trust him with this. Or I'll trust him up to this point in this situation, but then I'll take over from there because he doesn't really get it.
Or I could do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. You know, in that verse that, you know, we hear it all the time, right? Proverbs 3, verse 5 and 6, it says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart, all of your soul, and all of your mind. And I think like that means all of your life. Mm-hmm. Like you were saying.
Well, and especially now as we're going into a fall that is anything but routine, will be anything but predictable. We're going into a recession that incomes are not a guarantee. It's not, you know, nothing is predictable. So it almost then in those times, are we holding on tighter, or are we going to release it to what does it mean to trust? Can I trust God and Jesus with online school this fall? When it seems impossible right now, I don't know how to do it. My kids won't learn. How am I going to work and do school?
Yeah, all of those unknowns and gosh, I mean, even as you were saying those things, you know, there's that fear and uncertainty that settles in.
Yeah,
Harder for me to swallow.
right.
Um,
And physical manifestations of it.
yeah. And so I love that segue though. So with school going online
Uh-huh.
we're already in August, so within a month, 4 to 5 weeks at most, you know, what are our idols? That is, I think, the question that I'm pondering and challenging us to think of. What are our idols? And you named a few just in terms of our routine and our schedule. I think even academic or athletic achievement, you know, we do place a lot of value on that. Even for our youngest, and it doesn't matter how old our kids are.
No, and we often equate that with their future. So we're also saying right now, I can't trust that my child will learn what he or she needs to learn. And how will that impact my child's future?
Mm-hmm.
So we're also kind of trying to hold on to that as an idol, that I can control what will happen in my child's future by controlling what happens in their day to day.
Right. And how about another thing that I thought of was reputation? Like, do other people think of me as a parent, or expectation? What do I um, think about myself?
Yeah. And that is an idol, because one of the things that's going to happen in these next 4 to 5 weeks are people are going to make all different kinds of choices that may or may not align with yours. And so how are you going to trust that the decision that I made that's right for my family, that I prayerfully spent time with the Lord in, am I going to trust that that's the right decision? Or am I going to keep second guessing that I should have, would have, could have done this?
I think that as we're doing this, I realize what we're doing is naming and identifying our idols. And
Mm-hmm.
probably if someone were to ask me, you know, Lillian, how do you trust God? Like, what are steps that you have to take? I would say
Mm-hmm.
the first thing is to name those idols, reject them. So second, reject them. And then
Mm-hmm.
the third would just be choose God. And
Mm-hmm.
God, I trust you with this. And it seems so simple,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just like those two words, trust Jesus.
Right.
Um,
But as you were saying that, when you said you name them, you reject them, and then you trust, that's a really simple formula, but you may need to do that formula again. You know, I'm going to name it again today because I need to reject it again today. I'm going to trust it again today. Because I think trust right now, you know, it's that daily stepping into an unknown future with a known God.
mhm. That's, you know, like in the Lord's Prayer, right? We ask for our daily bread. It's not, you know, the bread that'll last us the year or the month, but our daily bread, our daily dependence.
And I've been thinking about the Lord's Prayer actually a lot lately when it's the daily bread. When I think of it as Jesus as the bread of life, we're not just trusting that our daily physical needs will be met, but give us our daily bread, give us our daily dependency on the one who is ultimately and wholly trustworthy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I know we might be crossing analogies, but you know, there's the the time in the Bible when Jesus meets the Samaritan woman at the well. It says that, this water that I give you is water, well, you'll never grow thirsty again.
Right.
And so it's that sustenance, that provision that can sustain us for eternity. But he asks us to come to him on a daily basis for that.
Right. And I don't think you're crossing analogies, because I think bread and water are the two things that we have to have. Every single day we have to have bread and water.
Yeah.
How lovely that both of those point to the person of Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I think what I also heard you say, I want to reiterate, because I think it's important for all of our parents to hear, is that you are not a bad parent for the way that you are reacting, right? The whole school situation. If you're dreading online school, you're not a bad parent. You're not a bad parent for choosing to homeschool. We have never lived through a pandemic, but we are doing the best we can, and we are making the best decisions for our family as we prayerfully lean into the Lord and trust him for all of those aspects, our daily stuff and our future stuff, and the future of children as well. Yeah.
And I think that daily is true, because that is an act that we have to act upon. I am going to trust today. I'm going to step out in trust today. And with the information I have today, with what I know today, I'm going to make the best decisions possible.
Yeah. And if tomorrow the information changes, it's okay. We can adjust. We can change our mind. And several weeks ago, people were talking about being gracious towards yourself. Not much has changed since 3 weeks ago.
If anything, it's harder than it was 3 weeks ago.
Right. And so we, to remember that we can be gracious with ourselves. We're making an informed decision today. And if the information changes tomorrow, then it's okay. Not to be so hard on ourselves.
Yeah.
So I think I want to just reiterate Proverbs 3. All of you who are joining us, just to meditate on the words. Trust in the Lord. And, it says, trust in the Lord with all of your heart, all of your mind, and all of your soul. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all our ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your path. And it might be a narrow path. It might be a rocky path. You may stub your toe.
Yes.
Does make it straight so we know which way to go.
Right.
So thanks again for joining us for Perspectives for Parenting. We hope to see you next time. And please comment, leave us an email, let us know if you have any prayer requests or questions. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.